All right, so I'll begin in a minute. Okay, guys? Good evening.
Sir?
All right, guys, where's everybody else? I'm struggling to, it's almost 1 hour into the class and only 2 of you guys are in the class. I want to do that. Oh, I am not. This is what the other group. Could you stop sharing for me? I don't know why you start sharing and I don't even start my class yet. Thank you very much.
I thought we were going to present. That's why I'm sharing.
I'm not starting my class with any presentation. You guys were supposed to have presented in the last class and you came late. So I'm not starting my class with presentation, I'm ending my class with presentation. All right, so good evening, everybody. Hello. Good evening, class. Can I get a verbal response? Is there anybody in the class? I'm seeing Moisha, I'm seeing Renee, and I'm seeing Natisha. Nobody's saying anything. So I don't know if you guys are physically there.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Where is it? So I just wanted to bring to you, so you have done 2 coursework already. So the mid-semester and the research component, which was Google Analytics. The 2 other things that I want to bring to your attention is the other assignments so that you have a sense of where we are in the process. So where is my general? Let me just go into it. General course delivery plan. So you have 2 other assignments, and then the final thing that is going to be treated as the exam. All right, so it's not a literal exam, but you're doing it as it's going to stand in for the exam. So it's actually going to be due the week that you begin your exams. I think I've given you the dates already. The date for the final assignment. When did I say is the final assignment again? Remind me. Hello? When did I say is the final assignment? When is the final assignment due?
I don't remember.
Guys, I ask you to write it. Hello, people, I ask you to write it down. You are responsible adults. Please, I told you to write it down.
For it, sir.
I ask you guys, and I'm almost sure it was even placed in the WhatsApp group. I ask you guys to write it down. Now I'm hearing that you don't remember and all kinds of stories. I told you specifically to write it down. So let me search to see which date.
So it's Wednesday, June 2, sir.
Is Wednesday, June 2?
Yes, sir, 7 p.m.
Right. I actually just found it. So it's Wednesday, June 2. All right. There are 2 other pieces that you're going to do for me. And I think I had, so there are going to be 2 case studies. You're going to do 2 case studies, right? The 2 case studies, no, well, I'm going to give you 2, let's call it case scenarios. And you're going to do it either in pairs, by yourself, or the most 3. So this is not going to be 2 groups now, because I want more persons to be doing their work, somewhat of individual work. I don't want everything to be group-based. So the first one, so let me share. So the first case scenario, let me just take this out. Remember, I taught you about creative brief. What did we say is a creative brief again? What did we say is a creative brief again? Okay, so we don't remember what is a creative brief? Nobody remembers creative brief? Hello? Does anybody remember what is a creative brief?
No, sir. No problem.
Okay, can you quickly Google it and tell me what it is, please? Because we did do that in the class.
A creative brief is a, you heard me, sir? Afternoon.
Yes.
A creative brief is a document used by creative professionals and agencies to develop creative deliverables, visual design, copy, advertising, website, etc.
Okay. And I think we looked at creative briefs in specifically to specific to creating advertisements. And then that's when, so I did the first part. Dr. Ho came in now and gave you some additional information about digital advertising. And he mentioned, for example, what are the purposes of digital advertising? Remind me of the main purposes that he highlighted. The main purposes of digital advertising or advertising in general. People, I'm trying to go somewhere with my questions. Do you remember? We never wrote any notes or anything at all. What are the main purposes of? Look like I need to give another class test and grade it because we're not interacting with the information. What are the main purposes of advertising, digital advertising, people? What did Dr. Ho mention? What were some of the things that came out of the lecture?
Main purpose of digital advertising.
I'm not hearing you.
Is to lead your sales business, looking at product and service, and how to new traffic to kind of garner new traffic.
That's none. I never. Dr. Ho never mentioned any of those things.
Okay,
What
well,
is the first purpose of digital advertising?
I don't remember, sir. Honestly.
Can anybody check you? Did you write down? Can you check your notes? Did you write it down?
Sir, I'm driving. I can't.
For the other persons who are there, did you write down the information? So one he said was to inform. Does anybody remember any other?
Educate.
To educate, yes. What else?
Persuade.
To persuade. What else?
Act and reassure.
All right. So we seem to remember now. All right. So one of the things that we are going to look at today is, let me show you the coursework 3. Oh, I need to claim host first because, where is it? Let me claim host first. I don't think I claim host. Seven 54683. So let me show you the, why am I not clicking the right thing? Share screen. Go to my phone. All right, are you seeing my screen? I need to change the color for this. Are you seeing my screen, people?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the first one says, case one, Fontana Pharmacy is planning to introduce a new line of hair products to the market. The line is an organic hair care line, including shampoos and conditioners, moisturizers, hair treatment. Is it pronounced most for female hair products? That's how you pronounce this word?
Mousse. Mousse.
Mood, sir.
This is how it is spelled?
No.
I don't think that's how it is spelled, because I would have known if there is another version of mouse. So let me see how it is correctly. I think the autocorrect spelled it that way. Here, M-O. All right, I'm not seeing anything coming up. How is it spelled, people? Do you know how it is spelled?
No, sir.
And you guys,
Sir, M-O-U-S-E.
oh, but so it is spelled that way.
Yeah.
All right, it will be sold.
There, 2S. Sorry, sir. 2S. M-O-U-S-S-E.
Okay.
Right. I don't know it's not spelled. All right, so it will be sold exclusively online. Assume that this line of product has never been sold in Jamaica before. Management wants you to do the following: write a creative brief, which includes the advertising techniques. Well, we don't want the advertising techniques, and create at least 5 different ads. So write a creative brief. Let me not give you the techniques, because there wasn't any time to touch on the advertising techniques, which is something that I actually want to do, come to think of it. Write a creative brief, which includes. So write a creative brief 1. Don't say which includes. So let me make this a little bit easier. Should I teach you the advertising techniques? I should, because if you're doing advertising, you need to know the techniques. And it's going to lose its purpose. Yes, you have to learn the techniques. I'm going to teach you techniques. Write a creative brief, which include right? So it's supposed to go back. Yeah, you need to learn the techniques. The techniques are critical. Because you can't do advertising without knowing the techniques. And create at least 5 different types of digital ads. All right. The other one now, the Office of Graduate Studies at Excelsior Community College wants to recruit students for the upcoming academic year 2021-2022. The Office of Graduate Studies offers a range of new master's degrees. Each will be offered exclusively online. Management wants you to do the following: write a creative brief, which include the advertising techniques, and create at least 5 different ads. And the ads, when you're creating them, you need to bear in mind the platforms. Anybody has ever heard about carousel ads? Have you ever heard the term carousel ads? Hello?
No, sir.
All right, so you guys I'm happy I'm teaching you, so that I'm going to ensure that the course is properly revised, because these are digital marketing terms that you should be familiar with. ECC, digital marketing, coursework. I normally put it on the coursework, and I will call it, no, that's tag. I don't want tag. Let's call it coursework 3. All right, so coursework 3. So coursework 3. All right, so Just wanted you to be bear in mind that this is the third coursework. Then there's the last coursework that you're going to do is the is the social media strategy, which is actually not difficult because I'm going to give you a promotion that is either being done by Digicel or Flow or NCB or Jamaica National, and then ask you to come up with your social media strategy. And I'm going to walk you through that. But I have to teach you how to do the advertising, they introduce it to the advertising strategies, because these are some of the things that, well, not even some of the things, these strategies inform how you shape the ad. Because when you say that you have created an ad for me, I'm going to ask you certain questions about it. So I'm just picking up off where Dr. Ho left. So he introduced you to the whole concept of what is an ad, the elements of an ad. So we talk, what are some of the elements of the ad again? Remind me. What are some of the elements of advertising? Some of the things that are in an ad and in an actual ad. Does anybody remember? Hello, anybody remembers even one component of an ad?
Sorry, the headline.
So we have the headline. Anything else? So let me briefly remind you before I go into the advertising technique, because that's very
but not many
critical.
people have time for that. I understand.
Thanks for that.
So I created a company with my business partner Alex called Mentor Box.
Sorry, the slogan as well.
Customer.
Yes.
We turn books like.
Are you seeing my screen?
There are
Yes,
two
sir.
parts to an effective advertising campaign. The first part is strategic media placement, which is research-backed data to find the most cost-effective placement for your ads. The second part of the campaign is your creative message. In this video, we'll discuss the key components of an effective ad message. Let's begin. Rule number 1, keep it short and simple.
This is not what I
Your
want.
ad should answer the following questions within a 5-second glance. What is this business?
This is not what I want to show you. Why did I label it as such? That's the technique. I don't want the technique at all. That's not it. That's the brand statement which I introduced it to. We looked at the brand statement. What is creativity? What is example of creative strategy? Digital advertising, components of an ad, message. So where did I save it? All right, so we talked about we said the headline, we said what else? Somebody's mentioned the logo. What else? What is the other component of the ad message? Am I looking at the right thing? No, this is creative brief. What else is in the ad? What else makes up a digital ad? Oh, I know where it is. I just remember. What else, people? We spoke about the copy. What's the copy? Nobody remembers these things? What is wrong with this phone? Why is this not picking up the Wi-Fi? What is wrong with this Wi-Fi? Anything else, people? Is it that we don't remember, or we just resisting talking and not getting a sense? I have so many persons and nobody's talking.
Sorry, repeat what you just asked. I'm sorry.
I'm asking about the different parts of the elements of an ad, an actual advertisement. One person mentioned the headline, I mentioned the copy. What else? What else? What are the other components of an
Sir,
ad?
I was the one that mentioned the headline.
Yes.
I mentioned signature as well, I think.
The signature, yes. What else?
And illustration.
Illustration, yes.
And you already said copy. And some of them may include the slogans as well.
Right, some may include the slogan, all right? It's very important that the reason I'm trying to make mention of this is because where I'm going now, what I'm going to look at now are the components of an ad message, which is where I wanted to go. and then now we'll look at the techniques.
Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Park, Executive Chair.
So please listen.
There are two parts to an effective advertising campaign. The first part is strategic media placement, which is research-backed data to find the most cost-effective.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me restart this thing.
There are two parts to an effective advertising campaign. The first part is strategic media placement, which is research-backed data to find the most cost-effective placement for your ads. The second part of the campaign is your creative message. In this video, we'll discuss the key components of an effective ad message. Let's begin. Rule number 1, keep it short and simple. Your ad should answer the following questions within a 5-second glance. What is this business? Why should I go there now? Where do I need to go? If you are a retail store, you don't need to rely on text to list everything you sell. Your ad can include video or images of these items. Let the visuals show what you do, and let the text tell the audience why now. For example, while the images or video are showing all your store has to offer, the text can advertise that you're having a 50% off sale this weekend only. That leads us to rule number 2. Include a call to action. The call to action encourages the audience to take a further action. A call to action could be an upcoming sale notification, an incentivizing discount code that expires soon, or even a simple sign up or learn more button. Rule number 3. Make the contact information clear. You've got the customer interested. Now what? Direct them where to go. This can be a phone number, a website URL, or a physical address. For digital ads, one click on the call to action button can take them directly to your website. Rule number 4. Align your ad with the tone of the media placement. If your ad is going to appear in a high-end luxury magazine, you'll want the aesthetics of your ad to fit in with the tone of that publication. A loud and wild ad for a loud and wild pop radio station. The media outlet sets their tone specifically to appeal to their unique audience, so follow their lead, with your own creative distinction, of course, and you're more likely to appeal to their audience too. Be clear and to the point. If you still don't know what an ad is about after 5 seconds, it's not an effective ad. Keep non-essential information out of your ad. Your ad is the invitation, and your website is the info pack brochure where the audience can learn more at their leisure. Keep it simple, keep it short, make it easy to understand, and direct the audience where to go next. I hope you found this to be helpful. For more information or to contact.
All right, so what are some of the key components?
Keep it simple, sir, and the directing the ad to where it's supposed to be going, I think. She also mentioned the call to order aspect of it.
Call to action, not call to order.
Yeah, call to action. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the very important thing to remember is that when somebody looks at your ad, they should get it the moment they look at it. All right? Because your coursework 3 deals with you have to know create ads for the different platforms. One thing I want to bring to your attention is that you need to be mindful of the size of the platforms, because you're going to actually post these ads, right? So are you seeing my screen? Social media image size is 2021. So if, for example, you're posting on, and they have 3 examples here, Pinterest pin, LinkedIn, and Instagram story, the sizes are very different, and they are different because they have different purposes. So it's very important for you to have a sense of what these things are. Here's an example, social media image sizes, and they're telling you landscape, portrait, square, stories, cover photo. So it's very important that this part you also take into consideration. Remember I was talking about carousels. here they are. They're telling you the actual size. And this is for Instagram. And you have carousel ads on as well on Facebook. So here's Instagram. They're telling you the sizes. They're giving you certain tips. So this is an example of a carousel ad, but usually they should, carousel ads are more than one. So it's like 4 different ads. Oh yes, I think this is where, so you see what they're showing you are more than one feature of whatever they're advertising. All right, so they're showing you this particular wear from the front and the back. All right, what are they advertising in this? What are they advertising in this, people?
Sorry, the sweater.
The sweater, right. And here is the copy. They're giving you some information about it. Again, you have to look at the sizes. IG, TV, very important. They're giving you several tips. This is Twitter. Twitter has a different size, the profile photo, the header photo. So the profile photo is this yellow section here. The header photo is here. All right, the in-stream photo, you're showing you the size that works. These are things that you have to know as a digital marketer. And what platforms are better. So the profile photo for Facebook is here. The cover photo is there. The post and timeline photos, they're giving you the size, the cover photos. And cover photos, most times you can think of them as, we call them Facebook banners. And again, they're showing you the different sizes. This is very, very critical because I'm going to also mark you for this when you create your ads, that the ads are properly sized. That's very critical. So you're not just going to just create an ad willy-nilly like that. You have to properly size it and indicate to me which platform this ad is for. So there's the blog. You can put it in the WhatsApp group. I will also send, I think I've sent this document to you guys, so you should be able to get the link on it. The very important thing that I want now for us to have a conversation about, and you need to take notes, are the advertising strategies. So you need to say to me, when you, for example, you create your ads for either Fontana or Office of Graduate Studies at Excelsior, you need to be able to justify to me which specific advertising strategy you're using and why. All right, does it sound like something simple, something that you guys can do? Hello?
Well, sir, I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. So I think that we can possibly manage it with your guidance.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking you to do these things is because when you're a marketing manager, you have to be able to justify the decisions that you make, especially when it comes on to campaigning or the kinds of ads that you're using. So it's not just creating the ads, but it's also being able to explain to your superior that this is why I'm making these decisions and this is what I'm trying to accomplish. So let's look now at the advertising techniques. You must take note. There are so many different techniques, but these techniques, they're actually going to show you some examples. All right, please take notes. Where is my? So there is a blog that talks about the advertising techniques. And actually, when I was doing my course in advertising, this blog was shared with me. What my lecturer didn't tell me at the time is that there's a video version of the blog. So I searched and I found the video version because I'm sure it's easier for you to look at or watch the video than, what the hell is this? So are you seeing my screen, guys? So there are various techniques, right? You have color psychology, composition, rule of thirds. There are so many different techniques that are, so here they are showing you the kind of contrast between these two. This is an example. The composition, they're showing you this particular kind of ad, rule of thirds. And I don't remember every single rule out of my head, to be very honest. Some of these things, there are so many different techniques that are being used, and I don't remember every single rule. The ones that I would primarily focus on when I was advertising is contrast. I love the whole notion of contrast. And I remember creating an ad where it was recruiting for the US military. And I think the point I was making, I was using contrast, is something like, get them before they get us. So this is a visual path where they're the ad is created in a way based on how they think your eyes will move on the ad. This one now, as I call it, typographic composition, where they're really kind of selling the visual in a kind of the typography for there to be some sort of visual appeal. Usually it's supposed to mimic the actual thing, or to kind of poke fun at the actual thing. So if you think about this, Britain's biggest egg, and it's kind of poking fun mini eggs. So look how the typography is so large, but the egg is so small. There's repetition, and I'm sure you know about repetition, and you see it here, which kind of give you a kind of kaleidoscope of the various places and things that can be done, the landscape, how the landscape looks visually. So there are so many things, especially with the eyes. There's one where and I'm sure, yes, here's the one with the eyes. They call it again direct gaze, when you're looking directly, or when the image, the eyes in the image are looking directly at you. And then there's another one when he's actually not looking at you, the third gaze, the 3/4 gaze, when they're actually not looking at you. So I want for you to pay attention to the various techniques that I'm going to show you the actual video version of them. All right, so that you can get a sense of the kinds of techniques that are used to inform advertisers, so that when you are creating your own ad, you have a sense of what technique you're using and why. What is it that you're hoping to accomplish? All right, so I'm going to now go to the actual recording. And I can tell it, I can confess that when I'm going to create my advertising campaign for Excelsior, I always go back and watch the video just as a refresher, because sometimes you forget certain things, and sometimes you need to be reminded of certain things as a marketer. So you go back and you become a student, because when you do marketing, whether it be digital or even traditional or a combination of the two, you're always a student. You're constantly, learning, you're constantly having to remind yourself, and you're constantly having to upgrade yourself, just to keep abreast of what is happening in the marketplace, and ensure that you're one step ahead of your competitor or competitors. So let's look at this. Please take notes. It's quite a mouthful, but I want for you to take note of the different advertising techniques. And then now we probably can start having a discussion in the class about the type of technique that you think would be good for either the Office of Graduate Studies or the Fontana product line.
Implementing a visual marketing strategy will seem like a daunting task. That is, until you finish watching this video. Hello world, Mike Ploger back with Visme, the online platform that stays ahead of visual design trends and allows you to create your own content with ease. Digital marketing experts have found that the average human sees 5,000 ads per day. Some of us will actually see even double that. Now, with the competition to grab our attention growing by the day, it's imperative that advertisers absolutely nail their content and influence their viewers. There are 23 proven methods that I'll touch on in this video. Now, some relate to the elements within the ad, while others touch on different appeals to connect with a viewer. As is the case, you'll be able to use more than one of these techniques in each of your advertisements. It's up to you to decide which is best for your product. Shall we? In every piece of advertising that we see, there's some sort of color scheme. Whether it's a full palette or black and white, those colors have likely been chosen for a reason. Different colors can elicit different feelings in viewers. Red is the color of passion or power. Blue is calming and approachable. Both of these colors have become strong associations with brands. Think classic Coca-Cola in that strong red, or Tiffany blue, as we see here, paired with a gray-scaled image. This ad also gives us a direct gaze into the product, which is another technique that we'll explore here very shortly. Nonetheless, the importance of strategically picking color cannot be emphasized enough. If you're interested in diving deeper into color psychology, we have the video for you. Check it out in the link above. Okay, before I dive into this technique, you might be asking yourself, what exactly do I mean by composition? Simply put, it's just the organization of elements within your ad space. A well thought out ad will pull a viewer's eyes towards the most important aspects of a design. It could be an emotional trigger, the brand's logo, or a call to action button. Achieving balance is key when it comes to your composition. This ad behind me uses composition techniques like the rule of thirds, focal point, and a visual path. The woman sits in the left third while the light shining gives importance to both her and the centered text. I recommend checking out the Gestalt principles to explore the basic rules for a great composition. You just heard me mention it, now let's explore it. The rule of thirds. This technique places a 3x3 invisible grid over an image. By doing so, you'll get 4 intersecting points, and these points are crucial. Place your most important visual elements at these points, just as Corona did with their iconic Corona bottle. Now, the golden mean is quite similar, but follows the Fibonacci sequence. What the heck is that, you might be asking? Well, it's this more free-flowing grid that directs the placement of elements in a more harmonious way.
Why am I hearing talking? Please mute your mics.
Rectangles are broken down into more rectangles, achieving visual balance. The focal point of an ad is as important as any of our techniques that we're covering in this video. We just covered 2 grid techniques which can draw attention to a focal point, but there are a few other techniques as well. Selective focus is one that will blur out the unimportant aspects of an image. Adjusting exposure can manipulate what areas should pop while also hiding some other areas in the shadows. Or you can even provide a light source to bring importance to a single element. In these ads, we have not 1, but 2 focal points: the plain text and the rubbed out text, which sends a powerful message. Any image, ad, book cover, web page, any visual that we look at, we go on a visual path, a journey through the design. Now there's 2 visual paths that are the most effective when planning your design: the Z path and the F path. With the Z shape, our eyes begin at the top left of the image before moving right, then back diagonal left, and then across to the right again. So here we see the first block of text, then move over to the picture of the man, back left to the call to action before finding the mobile phone. Now with the F shape, our eyes move like they would when reading a book. You start top left, move right before moving back left, down, right again, and continuing down the image. Topography, aka fonts. The style and amount of text within an ad is crucial to its success. Just take into consideration the fact that Facebook has an algorithm that accepts or denies ads based on how much text is within that ad. Crazy, right? You want to be mindful of how much text you're placing in a design. An ad filled with lines of text can often be overwhelming, so you'll want to use visuals to balance out your ad. This ad, well, probably wouldn't be accepted by Facebook, but it is great for traditional advertising. Britain's biggest egg is that tiny little egg in the ad's boundary. Make sure you do your research when you're choosing your fonts, and don't look far. We've covered this in another video of ours on our YouTube channel. If you really want to nail your product or idea into somebody's head, use repetition. Whether it's the same ad in a number of platforms, the same commercial on different channels, or pushing your brand logo anywhere and everywhere, that's repetition for you. Now the thing is, Repetition is best only when debuting a new product or message. It'll raise brand awareness, but soon after, you'll need a new strategy to keep viewers entertained. Renault repeated the same concept but in different shapes to take advantage of this technique. Viewers will immediately recognize the brand, even if it's their first time seeing a new ad. If you're creating an ad using real people or even figurines, you'll want to consider their body language within the ad. Without speaking, body language can portray confidence, success, spontaneity, liveliness, you name it. Now, determining what message you want to send before building your ad is important. By doing so, you can search for just the right actor or build that perfect animated character. McDonald's, believe it or not, actually wanted somebody to yawn in their ad. Why? Because they were pushing their new 24-hour service that even the most tired and hungry consumers could relate to. Have you ever made direct eye contact with a complete stranger and it made you feel some type of way? We see it in romance movies all the time, and it's also a common strategy in advertising. Companies will use the most attractive actors and actresses that they can find and ask them to directly gaze into a camera. Now, in return, an emotion will be triggered in the viewer, pushing them to buy that product. We'll often see this with luxury items or scents maybe, just like we do with this Gucci ad and this handsome fella. Now, while the direct gaze may be a little intimidating, another solution would be the three-quarter gaze. Here, the subject is looking off camera in any direction. Our first example is from Dolce & Gabbana, and the actress, this time Scarlett Johansson, is peering into a mirror. By looking into a situation, the ad gives us a sense of wonder. Then there's Buzz Lightyear, who of course is looking into saving the world. In this ad for Toy Story, you can tell he's just itching to say, "To infinity and beyond." The point of view technique is most commonly used in video advertising, but it can be extremely effective given the product. This technique takes a viewer into the point of view of another person. GoPro and Red Bull have mastered the technique given what they're selling. GoPro sells the cameras, while Red Bull sells the drink that really has become more of a lifestyle. If you're looking into using this technique, get yourself a GoPro and pair it with a Steadicam or a head mount, then simply hit record while completing the action that you're selling.
All right, so let me pause there. Are there any techniques that you have listened to that you find interesting, amusing, that you would use or you have seen used in an ad? Anything, guys?
Body language.
The body language, what about it?
I've seen it in ad where, as I said, people use their body to catch the audience.
All right, so they're projecting something.
Yeah,
The body language is projecting something, whether it be success or whatever it is.
yeah.
Okay, so we have body language. Any other anything else, guys? What about you, Renee? Anything
also
jumped at you?
The direct gaze.
The direct
First,
gaze.
Yes. All right. Looking at the actor, he has a sexy look and an appealing. Would want to make you gravitate to the product.
Okay, yes.
Kind of stand out for me too also.
Okay. Adrian, you're silent, unusual. Almarine, Moesha, Natisha, anything from you guys? Litman, oh, you're so silent. That's unlike you. Tamara, anything? Yes? Go ahead. Someone said, sir, and then I'm hearing silence.
Or maybe it's Tamara, but she's at work. Or probably, her thing.
But anybody else but other persons are in the class? Why the other persons are not talking? Okay, all right.
Also the repetition too.
Yes, repetition. What about the repetition?
I mean, repeating the same thing for somebody to have a, you know, a better understanding, to have their views on a product. So you're doing it the same product, but you're repeating it in different segments. So that those things, that one stand out for me too.
Okay, all right. All right, let's continue.
Mastered the technique given what they're selling. GoPro sells the cameras, while Red Bull sells the drink that really has become more of a lifestyle. If you're looking into using this technique, get yourself a GoPro and pair it with a Steadicam or a head mount, then simply hit record while completing the action that you're selling. Behind the scenes videos or photos is a great technique to authenticate your brand. Sure, you may no longer look perfect in your advertisements, but viewers will actually appreciate that. These ads can be images of your workspace or employees in the midst of a project, or you can even film a video tour of what different employees are working on in any given moment. A quick way to do this is by having a single employee do a social media takeover. Give them the power to go around the office and get genuine interactions with those in your company. Hey, even McDonald's admitted in an ad that yes, their burgers on paper look a little bit different from those out the drive-thru window. Nonetheless, personalized marketing like this can go a long way. Association marketing is one of the more challenging techniques, but with proper research, it can also be one of the most successful. Put simply, association marketing is when visuals in an image are associated with a certain feeling, idea, place, or memory. Think Rolex watches in their association to power, or Lamborghinis in their association with wealth. Associations can also be created. An ad for body wash will use scenes of men playing football, implying the body wash will restore their cleanliness. Or check out this ad. Associating Carnival with drug and alcohol use by using pixels instead of actual vomit is easier to digest. Symbolism is similar to association, but calls on metaphors and similes to be effective. You'll be making comparisons and allusions using your product rather than recognizable icons. A high level of brand awareness can help, but is only necessary if an idea is completely far-fetched. This ad uses symbolism simply. The perfume bottle takes the place of a heart. We all recognize that it's supposed to say, I heart you. The perfume symbolizes love, making it the perfect Valentine's Day gift. McDonald's had a similar approach, symbolizing Wi-Fi with their French fries. It's an instantly recognizable icon, so most, if not all, viewers should understand its symbolism. As you try to pronounce our next technique, let me first help you understand just what it is. You know those two M&Ms that come to life on our televisions? Or the Planters Peanut Man? That's this technique. It's taking an object and bringing it to life. It can also work with animals, like Tony the Tiger or the Geico Gecko. A lot of times, these beings will become merchandise. The Moscow Zoo is another example when they edited their animals having a little bit of fun with a hibernating bear. Oh, and P.S., it's pronounced anthropomorphism. If you really understand your target audience, using the emotional appeal should be at the top of your potential advertising techniques. You should understand the wants, hopes, fears, and needs of your audience, then use symbolism, association, and storytelling to tug at their heartstrings.
Can you tell me which kind of organization relies heavily on emotional appeal? Can you think of an example of an organization or a brand that relies heavily on emotional appeal in their advertising? Hello?
Sir, there's this thing they usually some donations to some pet thing. I don't remember what it.
Right. So
exactly,
those,
they always have some images of pets that are well battered and so on. And
Right. So they tend a lot to rely heavily on emotional appeal. That's exactly what I was thinking about. And even so, would that be the ones for abused animals, or even war-torn areas, or areas
Or,
that
or
yes,
like UNICEF.
UNICEF, right? So like UNICEF, they rely a lot on emotional appeal
Yeah.
in their advertising because they want people to, feel very sad and wanting to help, because it's part of our humanity to want to assist others. All right, continue.
You want your audience to relate to your commercial, and some of these ads can be a little longer, like this Thai TV commercial, but if you watch it, you should get an understanding of the effect that these commercials have on viewers. There are actually a number of different emotional appeals that you can use, and we covered all of them in one of our videos. I dove deeper into the emotional appeal and covered some rational appeals as well. One of the more riskier techniques is bandwagon pressuring. However, anything with a little bit of risk could really pay off. Bandwagon pressuring is when you convince consumers that everyone is doing it. You convince them that they need that product because the masses are buying into it and they shouldn't be left out. However, if you overdo this technique, it could really have a negative effect on a viewer. Express use the term "don't miss out," which you'll often see in this technique when advertising their 2014 rewards card. I've mentioned storytelling in this video already, and with how powerful it can be, I want to focus solely on it for a quick second. First and foremost, storytelling relies on many of the techniques already covered in this video. It takes several techniques to become one influential message. The point of storytelling is producing a message that consumers can relate to. It can even be done without words. In fact, some of the most powerful stories are told with music and images alone. That's exactly what Lacoste did in one of their ads. No voices, no words, just strong imagery from beginning to end, telling the story of two strangers becoming oh so much more. Social media continues to grow as a platform for advertising, and as is the case, more and more advertising techniques continue to emerge. You'll often see case studies where brands have individuals use their products and write a blog on their website about their experience. Testimonials also fall under this category, and actually what you'll see the most often when scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter is social badges. Companies share their accomplishments in ads to show their expertise, just like Nature Made did here after they produced the first ever gummy vitamin USP certified for purity and potency. If your audience is similar to that of, say, Star Wars, the fantasy technique could be a viable option. By using associations, the fantasy technique takes something we've seen in television or maybe read about, and it brings it to life in an ad. Think Sasquatch in the beef jerky commercials. For most of us, it's a fantasy coming to life. For others, well, the search continues. Now, click the link above to see another more extensive example of Air New Zealand bringing all of our wildest fantasies into one safety video. For companies looking to explain to viewers more about who they are, an animated video could be a great tactic. Animation and motion graphics continue to grow in the advertising realm. They grab attention very quickly, but can also be pretty short in length and as entertaining as you please. Oreo actually put together a number of animated commercials not long ago if you're looking for any examples to check out yourself. And if you're not sure where to begin when creating animations, Visme has a tool to make it easy for you in a slideshow that can be featured on your webpage or your blog. Artificial reality has grown with technology in recent history, and it's made its way into advertising. You may also hear it called covert advertising, and that's just because it's not necessarily selling a certain thing, but rather providing brand awareness. IKEA allowed their customers to go into their app and place items from their store into a customer's home. Of course, it was through the phone's camera and augmented reality, but it did give viewers an idea of what a piece of furniture would look like in their own home. If you're interested in checking it out, click the link above. And lastly, as social media takes over the world, social media influencers have become very popular. These are individuals with massive followings who work with companies to promote their product. Oftentimes, the company will send them their products in exchange of a post tagging that company. This makes their following at least see the product and likely interact with their brand. Influencers will either receive compensation or receive those products for free. And believe it or not, micro-influencers exist as well. These are those with much smaller followings, but their engagement and success could be even greater. And that, my friends, is a wrap. I've covered 23 techniques now, some of which you'll want to consider in each of your ads, like color and composition, or others may be directed towards just one specific ad. I have one final tip for you. Remember to research and understand your audience. Know their wants and needs. Heck, know their wants and needs even better than they do. And when it comes to beginning your design, don't forget Visme is a visual design tool for tasks just like this. You can create ads from pre-designed templates with all the fonts, colors, icons, and graphics you could ever ask for. That's going to do it for me, for now.
Yes, guys. All right, so we are seeing so many different techniques. For the latter ones that we saw, what any one of those stood out to you?
Animation and motion graphics and
So,
fantasy.
So what about the animation and motion graphics?
It's just using animation to grab attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I've seen that, and also the fantasy one.
The fantasy one, yes.
Taking something and bringing life to it.
So we're taking something that is fantasy, for example,
Yes,
that
fantasy.
exists
Yes, sir.
in
Sorry.
a movie or whatever, and placing
Yeah,
it in a
fantasy.
commercial. So we have seen, for example, Lord of the Rings being included in commercials or being emulated in commercials. We are seeing that as well with, what's that vampire one called again? The trilogy, that vampire trilogy again. Oh Lord, I can't remember it.
Sir, Vampire Diaries?
No, not Vampire Diaries. That one that was this big excitement at Carib.
Oh, I don't remember the name, but no, it's a Twilight.
Twilight, right, Twilight. So that one, we see that as well in some of the, well, at the point when it was relevant, we see those in commercials. Somebody was about to say something?
And the storytelling.
Right, we see a lot about storytelling in some of the commercials. A lot of storytelling in the
use
commercials.
music and things to tell a story.
Okay, okay. All right, for what I want you to do for me, we only have, so in 5 minutes, I'm going to put you in groups of 2, and I want for you to be using the scenario. You're going to tell me now which technique you would use for the 2 case studies that I gave you. Where are they? Why are they not coming up? I'm going to email this to you, but I just want you to begin the conversation. Are you seeing my screen? You probably need to take a picture of it, because I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it when you're in the breakout room.
All right.
Just take a quick picture of it. All right, so I'm going to put you in the breakout room for 5 minutes, just a quick discussion. And then, have we taken the picture? If you have taken a picture, just put it in the WhatsApp group for me. You know what, let me do it, because these students. All right, so I'm going to, for 5 minutes or so, I want you to tell me which technique or techniques you would use. So room 1, you're doing case study 1, room 2, you're doing case study 2, and tell me which technique or techniques you would use and why. All right? Please go into the breakout rooms, guys. I've opened the breakout room.
Sir? Sir?
Sir? Mr. Clark?
Oh, sorry, my mic was muted. I thought I was talking to you guys. I'm saying which advertising technique you guys said that you would use.
Sir, for number 2, well, it was myself and Kadian and Tamara, but Kadian said that he came on late, so I'm looking on for the master's program. I think visual part or behind the scene, which will bring to authenticate the brand, or artificial reality, providing brand awareness, because a lot of persons are not familiar with this master program that they're offering. That's my choice. Kadian couldn't speak because he said he came on late, and Tamara is not answering. I don't know if because she's at work.
Okay. All right, Adrian, what say you? Are you there, Adrian?
So I'll go ahead and answer for
All right, go ahead.
that group, sir. So we were saying that we would go with the animation option, reason being, because it's an air product, it would grab person's attention when you're actually using an animated aspect to do the advertisement, and it would be something that is short, so it will grab your attention while being short at the same time.
Which thing that they say that you can use to create these kinds of animation, which software or platform was mentioned?
Animation and motion graphics.
Visme, I'm talking not about the advertising technique.
The Disney aspect of it, sir. So like, for example, you can use
No, Visme, not Disney. You guys were not, it's actually in the, it mentioned it several times to say that you can use it in order to create. Here it is. Are you seeing my screen? Here it is to the top right.
Okay.
Right. All right, I must run, guys. I have another class. So I'll send you the coursework and it's going to be due next week, all right?
Sir, what you said about I came in late is group of what, 3?
1 pair or 3, no more.
Okay. Sir.
1, 2, or 3, no more.
Okay, thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
All right, bye, guys, because I have another class.
Okay.